Hey everyone, welcome to From the Depths. I'm Menti, and this is episode 6 of the Battleship Brawls Season 4 tournament. This episode, we've got the HMS Overlord, the first active combatant, still trucking along, doing its thing, going up against the Wapen still stand under Hundenlingen, which I probably butchered, which is the whole point, because a Wellner just likes making me say hard things. Or is at least doing it this time. I know it's a thing. Just giving me hard to pronounce ship names. It's a thing. But anyway, it's a pretty nice looking battleship. Got its, command center there, a conning tower. Got a couple of funnels here. These secondaries, I think they're fake secondaries. Just aesthetic secondaries, won't actually be shooting. Got an armament of 4 tri-barrel turrets, so 12 guns. Low on the number of guns, but they might be quite powerful. We'll have to see here in a moment. And a very nice hull shape to it, though. I'm not sure what this, little underwater skirt is for here. Maybe it's to help prevent explosions from eating their way through to the wooden hull on the underside, maybe? I'm not sure. I am not entirely sure. But yeah, it's a very nice looking ship overall. I'm not sure what this third, it's like a third funnel, but it doesn't have any smoke coming from it. I'm not sure what that would be on an actual ship, unless it's just meant to be just, a third exhaust point or something. I don't know. Anyway, one thing I did forget to mention is the name of the ship, which I'm just going to call the Wapen, because that's much easier for me to pronounce. I am not stumbling my tongue over that name throughout the whole video. It is now the Wapen. It stands for Armistice Negotiations, or that's what the ship name means, which is pretty amusing. But anyway, let's go ahead and get this battle underway, see how this goes. Overlord opening up with those frontal cannons of its immediately, as per usual. Wapen getting some shots off before the shells can land, so it's not going to lose any turrets before they even get to fire a shot. Ooh, it took a hit to the side there. Let's scope out the damage. Looks like it penetrated in below the waterline, but not much damage. Pretty much repaired all of it already. Now let's check out, see what the Wapen's guns do to the Overlord. We'll just follow these shells in over here. Here they come. Oh, right on the gun. Oh, there's fragments in those shells. They have a cram fragment. But several of those shells landed right on this gun, and it didn't care. The gun itself is fine. I am really surprised that gun did not take more damage. Wow, it does do a lot of damage to that wooden superstructure, though. Those fragments kind of rip that up, but the metal just kind of whatever. I mean, it has explosion damage too, but does not seem it seems like it has a lot of fragment damage. And well, I mean, it blew open this back turret. I don't think this is really going to be functional anymore. Or if it is, it's just barely functional. If it takes another hit like that, it's done. The Overlord is down to 90%, while the Wapen is still at 100. I think the Wapen has some heavy repairs, though, because it's used a significant chunk of its materials. So yeah, you can see that volley did 2% of the Wapen's health and damage, but it is just quickly fixing those holes. That thing has some seriously heavy repairs. Being able to pump yourself back up to 100% after taking a volley from the Overlord is impressive, to say the least. Overlord taking some hits there. Oh, I think these rear guns, yeah, they've been absolutely shredded. But the Overlord has plenty more where that came from. It just needs to turn to bring them to bear. Well, at least this one. These two can fire on it just fine. Oof, well, never mind. That gun is no more. The turret caps seem to resist the shells pretty well, but I'm not actually sure. How did that gun get damaged? I don't see any holes in the armor around it. Unless, did it go through the turret cap? I don't see any holes. Like, I mean, there's damage, but... Oh, wait, right there. Wait. No, I don't see any holes. It's weird. I want to pause. My curiosity is piqued, because this might be an example of that bug where shells sometimes will just phase through. Oh, here. Oh, there's no damage in here. Like, there is a hole where explosions and stuff can go in, but all the pieces are still intact there. So yeah, this turret, I mean, it's damaged. I don't see any, like, exposed... Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay. I was gonna say. No, there is actually where a shell went in a penetration. Alright. Let's get this battle back underway now that my curiosity is sated, because I was gonna point to this and be like, Nick, fix this, please. This bug has existed forever, but I can't actually point to that as an example of the shell skipping armor. Oof. This turret here just took a nasty shot. Lost 2 of its guns. The Overlord has actually been pretty much stripped of its weaponry despite its redundancy. And the Wapen is still 99.9% life. It is just not taking damage from the Overlord. Especially now that the Overlord isn't really firing. I think it's lost all its guns. It's so much damage just spread out through the whole ship. I wonder if the fragmentation is actually doing that. So frags aren't really that great. They mostly just bounce off of things without doing damage. But at the same time, I can't argue with, like, the results here. I don't know if the Wapen just got lucky and periodically, like, hit the guns and knocked them all out, or if the fragmentation helped or what. But yeah, the Overlord, it just had a turret pop completely off. It's down to 67%. It is no longer fit to fight. It's basically done. It's just a matter of finishing it off at this point. As long as the Wapen keeps its distance, doesn't let the Overlord, like, climb atop it and drown it. Can't keep too much distance though, and then end up losing the match, like the Overlord did against the Nautilus. Those guns on the Wapen are seriously nasty, though. Whether the fragmentation is doing it or not, like, those guns are... I really don't think the frags are doing that much. I think it's just a good combination of... probably has a significant amount of explosive damage to go with it. I'm not sure how much kinetic it has. They might be meant to only punch through like a meter or two of armor and then detonate inside the armor and just shred it with frags and explosions. Yeah, the Wapen is 100% completely undamaged at the moment. It still has materials to spare, which is the thing. Like, we know the Overlord can put out some damage, so it makes me wonder if the Wapen didn't just get some really nice early hits on the Overlord's guns and neutered its DPS before it could really do much. At the stern of the Overlord here. It's like, come on, just like aim at the guns. Keep aiming at the guns. Knock out those big, you know, area, like densely packed areas of blocks, and just finish it already. Quit playing with your food, Wapen. Yeah, I just saw here one of those shells went through about like 3 meters worth of metal, and it had almost completely run out of speed. So I don't think they have much in the way of kinetic, like just enough to dig in a little bit so that the explosions and frags are more contained and hit more things. Now that, like, because you notice now that the Overlord is much more heavily damaged and doesn't have areas of like really dense blocks, just isn't taking damage as fast. But there it is. The Overlord is 2 damaged and going to despawn in just a moment. And there she goes. That is it. Round 1 is over. Victory to the Wapen by Oelner. Come on. There we go. Alright, so we will go ahead and get round 2 here underway. Get things started. First volley from the Overlord. One of them is way off target. The other hits the stern. Did a bit of damage back there. Well, let's see what the Wapen's volley does. Part of it missed. Those shells are kind of raking across the deck. Oh, managed to hit a turret there. Knocked out 2 of the Overlord's guns, and wow! Okay, that's a pretty big chunk of missing ship there. And it just got through one little area. It managed to punch through. And that turret got cored out. Lost a lot of guns. The Overlord has plenty more if it would just, it needs to turn to the right. It's trying to turn left. Which, with the Wapen sailing in the direction that it is, it's actually causing the Overlord to keep some of its guns in a position where they can't fire. Like, some more gun damage up on the front here. The Wapen's still sitting at 100% life, though, or, well, it was. Then it takes some hits from the Overlord. Now it's going to repair those back. But as you can see, look at the resources on the Wapen. Much lower this time. It has taken a lot more damage. The only reason it's doing so well in health is because of its insane repairs. Like, once it runs out of materials, its health will go down quickly if it keeps taking this much damage. Overlord taking some hits to its stern there. No big deal. As long as its propellers survive, which they did, so I'm sure the Overlord is happy to just keep taking those hits. Uh-oh. Okay, guys, you're getting a little close together. Somebody needs to, you know, do something. Needs to maneuver here. Or we're gonna have a ram. Stop turning to the left, Overlord. Like, come on. You're gonna ram and then you're gonna get stuck together. Which always sucks because it slows the game so down. Well, they're not really getting stuck together, so that's good. But the Overlord is grinding away some of the side armor of the Wapen there. I'm going to finish off its materials, and it is slowing the game down a lot. Even just from this minor collision, you can see how much, you know, colliding just slows things down. Thankfully, whoa, the Overlord's getting blown backwards by the explosions of the Wapen's shells landing on it. Oh, but now it's bringing more guns to bear, including this undamaged triple barrel in the back here, which has been cramming for a while. That's gonna hurt. Oh, that was heading right for that turret. I was sure that those shells were going for the turret. But the armor held, kept the gun from taking any serious damage. Oh, it's not going to be able to keep doing that though now that it's out of materials to repair with. Like if the Overlord keeps targeting this area, ooh, we've got some heavy armor back there. That's what's keeping the turret alive. Heavy armor is, as you would expect, quite heavy. Who would have guessed, right? It's only in the name. That undamaged triple barrel immediately got taken out, apparently. Still got this gun here. This gun still has 2 barrels. That one still has 2 barrels. So the Overlord has plenty of firepower to continue fighting with right now, but it is very behind in hit points. Though, if the Overlord were to instantly spend all of its materials on repairs, it would probably be ahead. Or at least very close. Ooh, some more hits landing there. Doing some serious damage to the bow of the Wapen. They're getting kind of far apart, though. They are both turning, but they are separating. And the Wapen is helpfully angling its deck with these plunging fire shots to make it less of an angle. Like, how nice of you. Oh, that's going for the turret. Yep. That was a hit right to the top of the turret. That gun is knocked out, and with no materials to repair it, it is done. Oh, it looks like the Wapen is actually out of range because of the listing of its hull. Well, some of the barrels are able to elevate and fire because they've been shortened, but most of the guns are actually currently unable to target its opponent. That is bad news for the Wapen. It needs to keep up that punishment, or the Overlord's going to catch up. Like, it is gaining. It has been slowly gaining ground ever since the Wapen ran out of materials. Oh, that's going for the turret. Ooh, right through the deck there. Did not seem to actually hit the turret though. Looks like the armor protected the turret. But it is no longer aiming. The Wapen is in danger of capsizing at this point. Uh-oh. I think it's going to capsize. Or it might just sink. It is having some serious issues with buoyancy. now that its repairs aren't keeping the water out. It has rolled over so much that it can't fight back. It can't fight the Overlord because it can't elevate its guns enough. It still has to live another 5 minutes. It can't, if it loses 2% more life in the next 5 minutes and does no more damage to the Overlord, then it will, you know, lose its win. Oh, and now that's down to 0.8%. Like one more hit from the Overlord, and the Wapen is like cannot win anymore. Yep. Well, nope, still 0.4%. Yeah, it's not going to be able to maintain this lead. It needs to find a way to deal more damage. Or it is going to lose. But I mean, it is completely flopped over on its side now, and is honestly in danger of getting a 80% sinking despawn. Like, I think the only reason it hasn't despawned yet is because, like, it's still above 80%. As of right now, this round is a draw. But I think the Overlord can do enough damage to change that in the 4 minutes it has left. Oh, yep. The Wapen got 5 seconds of DQ time there, which means it is too low, which almost certainly means that the 80% in sinking counter is ticking right now. Well, but it might be ticking and then going away and then ticking and then going away. Yeah, that is definitely a sinking ship right there. Oh, the explosions from the Overlord keep launching it upwards. When it hits underneath the ship, it makes the ship rise up, and I think that's pulling it out of the 80% in sinking threshold before the timer runs out. Yeah, you can see like that shell right there. Yeah, the Wapen just has no real chance at this point. Yeah, it is earning DQ time. But the Overlord needs to do some more damage. So it needs a 5%, it needs to be above its enemy's health by 5% to claim it as a win. Otherwise, this is a draw. Oh, wait, nope. The Wapen is 80% in sinking, so it is despawning. That is it. That is the end of round 2. It is now a 1-in-1 battle, people. We're going to round 3. Which means the 5% rule does not apply in this round because there has to be a victor. So whoever has the most health wins in this one. Because it is currently a tie, so the third round can't end in a tie in that case. So, let's go ahead and get this underway. Overlord launching its initial volleys. Did it hit itself? It must have shot itself because it's damaged. Yeah, it shot itself. Way to go, guys, because the Wapen totally needs your help. It didn't defeat you in round 1 or anything. The Wapen taking some hits, and with just the frontal batteries, like the Overlord is able to do more damage than the Wapen can repair. Even with that insane repair rate, just like look at those materials plummet. Like just watch after this hits. It's like wham, 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 all that damage. 98.3%, 98%, 97.5% health. and then a few seconds later, materials just down the drain and up goes the health. Like, that is a really hefty repair rate. Meanwhile, the Overlord is taking some damage, does not repair so well. But it is a much more stable ship. Whereas if the Wapen runs out of materials and starts flooding, it doesn't seem to do so well. Ends up flopped over. And I think the Overlord has already done enough to eat up almost all of the materials, and if it just keeps up that punishment. Well, those are heading for the turrets. Couldn't actually see. Yep, that turret just took a hit straight to the face, I think. Oh, that one just took a barbette hit. But it looks like the barbette actually stopped the shell. Impressive. Oh, that heavy armor, yeah. Heavy armor is holding up. Over penetration on the bow there. A few more. But the Wapen is out of materials again, with the Overlord at 88%, the Wapen's at 97%. They're about to have another collision. Oh, this one looks like it's going to be more of a tip-to-tip, bow-to-bow collision. Which is going to be a pain, because, yeah, they are going to be stuck together like this for a while. I think they're actually kind of merging together. Oh, all those blocks getting scraped off by both ships in the impact. And now they're stuck together. This is their life now. Which is actually probably a good thing for the Wapen, because the Overlord in this position will act as a bit of a stabilizer and keep it from rolling over. Ooh, that rear turret on the Overlord just took a shot right to the back of the head. I don't think that turret's going to be active anymore. I'm pretty sure that's disabled. And now everything slows to a crawl because these two ships have this entire ocean, as far as the eye can see, to fight each other in, but have decided to instead run into each other nose to nose and get basically as close together as, you know, physically possible in such conditions. Like, they really need to, like, separate, because if the hulls, like, if the stern of the Wapen comes around and the whole entire side starts grinding up against the side of the Overlord, the game will crash. Oh, here we go. Looks like ships have separated enough that the game has started moving along again. Now they're just kind of sitting right next to each other, just brawling. Oh, that shot right to the turret base. Oh. The Wapen is once again having issues with keeping itself upright now that it is not leaning on the Overlord. It might roll over and die again. That looked like it was another shot right to this rear turret. This gun can't be doing well. Ah. Yeah, I don't think... Dang it! I don't think this rearmost gun is active anymore. I think it's been disabled. Yep, and there it goes. It's flopping over. And its guns can no longer aim and fire. Which more or less spells the doom of the Wapen here. As it flops over. Oh, right into the top of that turret. That gun can't be wait. Wow, that armor is actually holding, like, really well. That's impressive. But yeah, the Wapen is just, it's in such a bad position now, like... Oh, don't ram again. Can we not, guys, please? Oh, here we go again. Things are starting to slow down. At least it isn't slowing down quite as much, but in this position, the Overlord can't really shoot without shooting itself. Did it just... the barrels are depressed down into the other turret. And shot through it. Oh, jeez. This game sometimes. Yeah, this is looking like an almost certain victory for the Overlord right now. Because remember, the 5% rule doesn't apply, and it's ahead in hit points. So all it has to do is not get itself disqualified in the next 4.5 minutes, and it wins, regardless of how much more damage it does. Bumped my mouse a bit there. We're at this point just kind of waiting for things to end. The Wapen might end up sinking again. Not entirely sure. Oh, yep, there. It's actually going. It has started sinking. So that is going to be it The Wapen by a Wellner has been defeated by the HMS Overlord in a pretty hard-fought battle here. If it just stayed upright better, it very well could have defeated the Overlord, but it's flopping over was its downfall. So yeah, thanks for watching, folks. Check out the stuff down in the description. We got link to the forum thread. They got a link to Discord, my Patreon, and the Hall of Beauty votes for both of these vessels will be down there. So go ahead and check those out. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the battlefield.